My name is Andrew Lyle, and I'll be analyzing the TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The purpose of this TED Talk is to remind people that while in some cases stereotypes can be true, most of the time they're blown way out of proportion. People need to stop stereotyping others based off of where they come from or what color their skin is. The world needs to look at things from other people's perspectives instead of looking at them the way Hollywood, the news, and the educational system tells them to. The first thing that Adichie does well is use facts in her talk to prove her point. Adichie refers to facts towards the end of her talk to prove that the view that America has on Africa is distorted. The first logo that she uses is when she refers to a heart procedure done in Africa just a week before her speech. She also talks about the influences modern artists such as Jay-Z and Bob Marley have had on African music. She also talks about a court case involving a young woman who just sued for her natural rights. Adichie also proves her point by talking about Nollywood, the Nigerian film industry, which is a prime example of modernization in Africa. Of course, there's many places in Africa that are still struggling and people are still starving. But that's not all of Africa. People need to learn to think for themselves instead of agreeing with the stereotypes that the media is placing on certain people groups. Adichie also appeals to the emotions of her audience. One way she does this is by talking about her family's houseboy, Fide. Fide, she said, when she grew up, she had enormous pity for him and his family because her mom always talked about how poor he was. She was only told a single story about Fide's family, and that is what caused her to have this view upon them. This is the way that most Americans look at Africans, poor, helpless people who need help, just because they've been told one story about them. Adichie's view of Fide and his family drastically changed when she went to visit his home and meet his family. During this visit, Fide's mother showed Adichie a basket made by Fide's brother. This made Adichie realize that Fide and his family were more than she thought they were. They were real people who lived life just like her. Adichie's original view of Fide's family seems to be the stereotype that most Americans associate Africans with. Adichie's story proves her point that a single story, in most cases, determines the way that people look at a people group. She was not the poor, starving girl that the United States views her as. Adichie had been reading books since she was 2 years old. She attended college in the United States and excelled in her studies. Despite being a walking example that African people are smart and capable of the exact same things that American people are, her professors still told her that her stories weren't authentic to Africa because the people in them drove cars and were smart. Adichie is proving that America's view on Africa is skewed and wrong. She proves that the people need to stop listening to one story, believing it, and stereotyping it with the people associated with it. Adichie does a very good job organizing her talk. While she doesn't use many transitions, her speech is very organized and clear. Her main idea is told early in her speech, and her supporting details are straightforward. She signals the ending of her speech by saying, "I would like to end with this thought." Adichie also does a very good job delivering her TED Talk. She maintains a slow and easy pace, making her words easy to follow despite her strong Nigerian accent. Adichie also appears very comfortable in her environment and clearly knows her topic very well. Adichie's speech is very effective and does a good job proving that people need to step back and look at things from a perspective other than their own. In the United States, the news and media have done a very good job controlling the thinking of the people in the country, causing them to look at things in the way that the news wants them to. Adichie's speech has done a good job reminding her audience to step back and take a look at and take everything with a grain of salt. Single stories and stereotypes can ruin the way that people groups and countries are viewed. Thank you.